And this podcast is brought to you by the Repost Network. Repost Network. Monetize your SoundCloud content. Sign up today at repostnetwork.com. This is the power of pro wrestling. A podcast by wrestling fans for wrestling fans. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Coming up today, we're discussing if the Royal Rumble should be held in bigger sports venues than normal pay-per-views. We'll also list our top 5 picks for surprise entrants and give our predictions for the rest of the card next on the Power of Pro Wrestling podcast. And welcome to this very special Royal Rumble prediction show for the Power of Pro Wrestling podcast. This is your host, Robert Rad, and for this very special podcast, I'm going to be joined today by Mr. Cornbread Chris Heineken. How you doing, Mr. Cornbread Chris Heineken?
Oh, I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So, we're going to be talking Royal Rumble for the special edition of the podcast.
The Rumble.
So, we're going to talk our discussion topic, which we're going to get into in a second. We're going to be talking if the Rumble should be held in bigger sports venues than normal pay-per-views. So I'm going to talk some background information, and we will discuss if it should or should not be. Now,
conversate.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Originally being broadcast in 1988 on the USA Network, then moving to pay-per-view the following year, the Royal Rumble has been around for almost 30 years. It is produced, so each winner is Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, among with numerous other Hall of Famers. The prize for winning the Rumble has varied throughout the years, with either the title being on the line or the winner receiving a championship opportunity at WrestleMania. Being a part of WWE's Big Four pay-per-views, it has been held in venues of varying capacity, with the Alamodome having the largest seating capacity. So, my question to you is, should the Royal Rumble be held in a bigger venue than the normal pay-per-views, such as like Backlash, or No Mercy, or Clash of Champions? What's your thoughts?
If I have to answer the question, which I am, if you're going to go that route, I should say you should be in buildings half that capacity. That means more than what you have on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, but half of the building seats. Or just say, hey, if you're going to do it in this building, shrink your seating capacity. Granted, I know that may not sound like smart business, but to be honest with you, if you're going to build everything to a WrestleMania or to the quote-unquote crescendo, the big dolls, if you will, why not do it in 30,000 seat buildings, which there are in the country. No question about it, and stats to back it up. There are 30,000 to 40,000 seat venues inside the United States alone. Have it there. Then, if you decide to go the big deal, because to me, I say if you decide to go 60-some thousand, then you should have your WrestleMania in front of 90, 100,000 people if you're going to go that route.
Okay, very good, valid points. Now, my take on this is yes, it should be in bigger venues than normal pay-per-views. Royal Rumble is the second biggest show of the year behind WrestleMania.
Exactly.
What I'm probably going to say is not going to be groundbreaking information or anything new or something you've not heard before, but it's a very logical explanation of why I say yes. It's the Royal Rumble. It's like I said, it's the second biggest show of the year. So, and it directly impacts what's happening at the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania. So, it should be in bigger venues than the normal seating capacity. Like your hometown of Memphis, you have the FedEx Forum or FedEx.
It's FedEx Forum. It's just 15,000 seat
capacity. It's 15,000, and you have that's a venue that's held a pay-per-view. I actually attended one. I think it was Unforgiven or something in 2007.
But was it that at the Pyramid when you attended that?
No, it was at FedEx Forum when I attended it.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
But another venue said the Pyramid. So I mean, you got 20,000 seat venues for normal pay-per-views. This is the Royal Rumble. It's the second biggest show of the year. So it's more of a spectacle than, say, the Backlash or the No Mercy. I'm not knocking those pay-per-views, but I'm just saying the Royal Rumble just seems to be more special. You have the Royal Rumble match. Actually, that determines the main event at WrestleMania. You've got great title matches that happen at the Royal Rumble. So, I mean, it needs to have that bigger venue and that bigger feel than just a normal pay-per-view.
Well, let me suggest this. And most people say, 1997 was the big deal as far as the Royal Rumble was concerned. Of course, it was a big deal, and it was successful for the following reasons. One, you had close to 66,000 just at that WrestleMania alone. Two,
don't you mean Rumble?
Yeah, just at the Rumble, of course. Yes, Rumble. Two, the following house shows and Monday Night Raws that did their own little non-pay-per-view Royal Rumbles drew 25,000. But I would say if you have to go that route of Royal Rumble being in big buildings, don't do what they did in '97. Have the Royal Rumble in front of 65,000 plus, and then have WrestleMania the same year at the Rose Maharaz in Chicago, now the Allstate Arena. Don't go that route. Have it flipped.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and if you're going to, I agree. If you're going to have WrestleMania and Rumble in a pretty big building or venue, you should have WrestleMania in an even bigger venue because it's the biggest one of the year. So, I mean, I agree with that. But that's all the time we have for this segment. Don't go anywhere. Our top 5 surprise entrants are coming up next.
Attention all Power of Pro Wrestling listeners. You now can show support for your favorite podcast by donating today on our Patreon page. By donating, you can get early access to our YouTube exclusives and the podcast before the public, along with other great content. You can donate today via debit or credit card or via PayPal. Go and check it out today at patreon.com/PPWP.
And welcome back to the show. It is now time for us to give our top 5 picks for surprise entrants. Now, I'm going to clarify what I mean by surprise entrance. Now, there are going to be some caveats or some qualifiers, whatever word you want to use here, that will go into our picks. It needs to be someone who's not announced for the Royal Rumble. That's what I mean by a surprise entrant. Just because you're expecting the person and they've not been announced doesn't mean they're not a surprise entrance in this case. And our picks, I really wanted it to be realistic options of these 5 individuals could make their way into the Royal Rumble match. So we're going to start with number 5. And Cornbread, kick us off with your number 5.
My number 5 is Ty Dillinger, the tiebreaker.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That's my number 5 pick. And, this guy's been in the WWE a long time. And I mean a long time, for years. This could be his big break right here. That's my number 5 pick.
Wow, I guess you were reading my mind. Because when I was putting my list together, I went from least likely to most likely.
Same with me.
And my number 5 is Ty Dillinger. And just for the simple fact, his gimmick, I'll explain why I picked him. His gimmick is the perfect 10. You have 30 spots in the Royal Rumble. So why not? You have number 9, you have the countdown, 10, 9, 8, you get the deal. Number 10 entrant, 10, 10, 10, 10. Ty Dillinger comes out. And I mean, he's had an interaction with The Miz, and like you mentioned, Ty Dillinger has performed on Raw, well, actually ECW, I should say, because he was Gavin Spears. A lot of people have forgotten about that. I even forgot about that until it was brought up. But I'd love to see Ty Dillinger in the Royal Rumble, and you've had guys from NXT come up before that were like Bo Dallas, Hideo. I don't remember if Hideo that made it, but you've had just random NXT guys
Hideo made
show
it
up.
At the WrestleMania, and that was 31.
Yeah, so I mean, you've got different factors that kind of qualify here for a surprise entrant. But let's go to number 4.
MVP.
Ooh, MVP. This is a good one. Shoot, tell me why MVP is your number 4.
Well, MVP is my number 4 pick is because with WWE in their quote unquote version of bringing the veterans back or bringing past stars that never got the big one back, other than Shelton Benjamin being hyped and other than of course Kurt Hawkins being hyped and all that, and he's not doing really well, I think your best pick for another mid-carder to at least try to attempt to get over the hump, would be an MVP. And MVP's an excellent athlete. Great athlete. So he's my number 4 pick. What's yours?
Okay. Well, my number 4, it is going to be a legend, but more of a legend. The Royal Rumble is known for bringing back legends just to fill out spots in the Royal Rumble match that have been surprise entrants. My number 4, I'm going to Memphis, Tennessee, your hometown. Mr. Jerry the King Lawler.
No, you did shock me on that one. Go for it.
The reason why I said Jerry the King Lawler, there's a lot of reasons, and some people have pointed this out, and when I started to analyze and think about it, it makes sense. Lawler, for the last several weeks, they don't have him on pre-show panels anymore. He's not doing kickoff shows or anything like that. They specifically, when SmackDown Live was in Memphis, they brought him back for that, obviously to get Ziggler over. But they announced he's going to be on the pre-show panel, and he's going to be calling. I was about to bring
that up.
He's calling the Rumble match, so why not? Because this has happened in past Rumbles. You hear the countdown: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. You get it, and then.
And he's been in the Rumble before.
Then the King's music hits. He gets up from the table, goes in the Rumble. He doesn't have to be in there but a minute or two.
The same way with JBL.
Yeah. So, and I mean, JBL could be a surprise entrant. That can be.
And Michael Cole.
Michael Cole. Anybody could be a surprise entrant right there that would fit that spot. But I'm picking Jerry the King Lawler because it just makes too much sense. Why do you bring him back to be on the Royal Rumble announcing and stuff like that in Memphis? You've got to have a plan there. That's why I'm picking Lawler.
Maybe the plan is Dolph Ziggler if Ziggler's in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
I think Ziggler's supposed to be in the Rumble. He announced he wasn't talking smack. So.
Yeah.
But let's go to our number 3.
All right, we're going deep into this one. CM Punk is my number 3.
Wow, I said realistic, D. Come on, Cornbread. Tell me why CM Punk number 3.
Well, realistically, because of a possible Legends deal that WWE, since it has been reported, and I got my sources, it's been reported that CM Punk may be close to signing a Legends deal with WWE, which was no surprise. But realistically, this could be something that can revitalize his career since the whole UFC deal went sour, even though he's getting paid a ton of money. That could be another realistic deal. And plus, you could have, since this is the era of the quote-unquote indies in WWE, that would be another guy to bring back, and he don't have to sit at home and not just literally be sad about the product. He can actually come back and really turn some heads. He'll be the major head turner, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he would be truly the biggest surprise entrant I think you could get in a Royal Rumble match right now. Maybe Hulk Hogan could outweigh him, but just CM Punk
and in front of a bigger audience at a Rumble.
Yeah.
That's what really shock everybody.
To me, this is just your fantasy booking right here. I know you say you have your sources, but I'm saying this is just your fantasy booking, and putting him at number 3 is a long stretch. I know my Ty Dillinger is kind of my fantasy booking, but I mean, it could realistically happen, I guess.
It's our picks, though. That's the key.
Well, my number 3, let's just say we had an announcement made in our state capital of Little Rock, Arkansas, to the first member of the 2017 Hall of Fame. So this pick won't suck at number 3 because I'm picking Kurt freaking Angle to be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Now,
he's been there before.
Well, with him in my number 2, which I'll get to, it may overshadow them if you have too much surprise entrants because, like a lot of people have said, this is a star-stacked Royal Rumble match. So with that, you might overshadow all these returns. If we have all these big-name returns returning and an already big match, then it would kind of make it feel less special. And I agree with 100% if you have too many surprise returns. But, I mean, if you don't have all these guys surprise entrant return in this Rumble, then this having Angle would be great. You could set up something for WrestleMania. Now, he says he's not supposed to be involved in the Rumble this Sunday, so this could be a long shot. But it is logical that it could happen because, like I said, you have the Hall of Fame. He's going to be at WrestleMania. Why not do something at the Royal Rumble and be a surprise entrant? So I could see a Kurt Angle being a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble match. So let's move on to number 2.
Another head turner due to controversy. My number 2 is Alberto Del Rio.
Fantasy booking.
Well, here's why. I mean, of course, fantasy booking, but there's a lot of realistic stuff to this. WWE is literally have talked about expanding NXT instead of just having NXT just in Orlando, Florida, and for special events and live shows. Well, it's already been rumored that NXT is going to be trying to station or WWE's trying to center everything in Los Angeles, California. What's the big deal in California, especially Southern California? The Hispanic community. And all due respect to Rey Mysterio, who is a monster big star, Del Rio will probably fit this role, because if anybody knows that style better than Mysterio, it's somebody from a family heritage. Del Rio. Granted, it may be controversial. Granted, it may be through a whole lot of stuff. But Del Rio, if WWE's going to do head turners like they did last year with AJ Styles, here's another head turner, Del Rio. What's your number 2?
Well, I mean, I think your fantasy booking on number 2, but I'm going to preface my pick for number 2. In Rumble's past, there have been guys that have come back from injury and made their triumph.
Absolutely.
Have made their triumphant return. You've had Triple H in the past.
Edge is one of them.
Edge, you've had a lot of guys, Cena, the list goes on and on. So my number 2 pick isn't far-fetched. A guy that's been out since August due to injury. The Demon King, Mr. Finn Balor.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I guess, have kind of forgotten that Finn Balor is on the shelf, and Raw really needs to be shook up right now. You've had the same 4 guys. You've had Owens, Jericho, Rollins, and Reigns have been kind of the top of the main event picture. Braun is kind of starting to slowly get there into the main event scene, but you need another main event guy because it's kind of grown stale. Finn Balor, I do see realistically returning to the Rumble. It goes back to my earlier point of Angle. You have too many guys showing up. It's going to overshadow their return and feel less special because like you've already got a stacked Royal Rumble. You don't need Finn Balor necessarily or Kurt Angle. I just think it's a realistic option. I just don't know if it's going to happen. Now, it's been rumored he's doing medical testing to make sure he's cleared to get back in the ring. So, it could happen. I agree with what a lot of people have said on the internet. It would be best to save a Finn Balor for not after WrestleMania. Because you're going to have a lot of eyes already watching you after WrestleMania. If you have a good WrestleMania.
If you have a good WrestleMania. That's the key. If
you have a good WrestleMania, that's the perfect time to bring back Finn Balor because you can set Raw in motion to be an excellent show. But I'm saying Finn Balor, number 2. Now, let's see. I'm interested. Who you got number 1? Because I think you probably have picked the same guy I have.
In a number 1 spot, probably not. My number 1 spot would be Kurt Angle.
So you picked Angle here, okay.
Kurt Angle will be my number 1 surprise entrant for this reason. Granted, in addition to all the great stuff you said concerning Angle winning, especially being right now in where he is in his career, it will make a lot of sense if Angle were to win, go into the Hall of Fame, and then main event WrestleMania. All in 1 year. I don't think that's ever been done. That will really cap off a complete career for Kurt Angle. And you can have Angle really elevate whoever the champion is in that main event spot. And Angle can do something that he's done previous in his TNA career. Get in the Hall of Fame and win the world title all in 1 year. That's something that hasn't been done in WWE before. I have no idea, but that's just a possibility.
Okay. I mean, that would, I guess, would make for an exciting WrestleMania and make it worthwhile. So, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be against something like that. A lot of people might gripe like, oh, it's Kurt Angle. He's coming back. He's taking the spot of a full-time guy and blah, blah, blah.
I don't think so. At CC3, he elevated him to a better spot. He elevated Cena. He elevated a lot of guys. Even AJ Styles, the current WWE champion.
Yeah. Well, with your pick, I'm going to kill you that you didn't pick this guy because this is the elephant in the room everyone's talking about.
Go for it.
I'm just shocked he didn't make your list. But this would kill the guy who makes the list because Joe is going to kill you. My number 1 is Samoa Joe, hands down. Now,
go for it.
Going back to my number 5, the Rumble in the past, this past few years since we had the exception in NXT, you've had the Bo Dallas, you've had a Rusev, you've had guys from NXT kind of make a one-night appearance in the Royal Rumble. Samoa Joe is primed and ready. He's dropped the NXT title to Nakamura, which I was kind of like back in the Survivor Series weekend when they had NXT in Toronto. He won the title back, so I was like, okay, maybe Joe's going to stick around a little bit longer. But then they did their house shows in Australia and Japan, and Nakamura won the title back. So I'm like, okay. And they're obviously going with Rude and Nakamura on Saturday, tomorrow at the time of this recording. So Joe just seems like a likely choice to appear in the Royal Rumble match. And with all reports and speculation, he's supposed to have something big set for WrestleMania. So to me, he's just the most logical choice of showing up at the Royal Rumble match on Sunday.
Yeah, insane, but go for it.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have left. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about the rest of the matches on the Royal Rumble card.
We got picks!
Yeah, we got our predictions, so don't go anywhere. Our Royal Rumble predictions are coming up next.
Attention all Power of Pro Wrestling listeners. You now can show support for your favorite podcast by donating today on our Patreon page. By donating, you can get early access to our YouTube exclusives and the podcast before the public, along with other great content. You can donate today via debit or credit card or via PayPal. Go and check it out today at patreon.com/PPWP.
It's now time for our final segment of the show. With the Royal Rumble being this Sunday on pay-per-view, we will be giving our predictions for the rest of the matches on the card, we're going to start with the non-title match, and then we're going to work our way up from there. So we have a 6-woman tag. It's Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi. They're taking on Bliss, the returning Mickie James, and Natalya. Who are you picking for this one and why?
Bliss may get the 3 count, but I won't be surprised if they let Mickie James shine or let Mickie James really, really put over a lot more of the young talent. But in this case, to further win and to further end a whole lot of stuff, to get that title match feel back to it, it needs to be Lynch, Nikki, and Naomi winning.
So you're saying the baby faces are going over here?
I'm saying they win.
Okay, well, I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to say the heels take this, and I'm going to pick Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya on this one. You just need to kind of continue the momentum you have. You're building with Bliss and Mickie James. You just introduced her. And Natalya, you need to give them some momentum going on right now. They've got the momentum going, so they just need to continue the momentum. So I'm going to pick the heels on this one, that Natalya, James, and Bliss win it. And I think it's going to be Naomi taking the fall for the other team. So let's go to the Cruiserweight title match. It is Rich Swann versus Neville. So who you got for this one and why?
Neville's new attitude. He wins the championship, especially with going back to his days inside of Dragon Gate. I'll say he wins with a new submission hold, and it's not going to be the Red Arrow. Neville wins the championship. My pick.
Okay, well, they do seem to be building to Neville winning the title, but do you take the title this quick off of Rich Swann? Now, they kind of did that with Perkins. Perkins didn't hold it too long, and then you went to Brian Kendrick, and then Brian Kendrick lost it to Rich Swann. So, I mean, there is precedent for it to be lost so quickly. I'm not sure if they're going to take it off Swann this quickly, but, I mean, they are certainly building up to something big with Neville. There seemed to be a lot of the focus there. So, I mean, Neville, I'm going to say, gets the victory. He may not necessarily walk out as Cruiserweight champion, but I'm going to say Neville gets the victory here. Now, I forgot to put on the list, so I have to backtrack, and it is the tag titles are on the pre-show, I believe.
Tag titles are the pre-show.
So
I have it right here.
We're
not
going to talk about that then. Obviously, we're not going to talk about Nia, Sasha, or the tag titles since they are pre-show.
But I got the next one.
Well, we're going to the Raw Women's Championship, which is between Charlotte Bayley. So, who's your pick?
The pay-per-view streak on the line versus the underdog. Too tough to pick. Charlotte is technically the odds-on favorite. So, just to keep the pay-per-view streak going and have it end at Mania, I will have to go Charlotte in this case.
I'm in agreement. I mean, you've kept Charlotte from losing on pay-per-view for this long for a reason. If you've got a streak going, you don't want her to lose at the Royal Rumble. The WrestleMania, like we've mentioned before, it's the biggest show of the year. If you're going to have something like a pay-per-view streak it needs to end at WrestleMania. So I'm picking Charlotte this one. It's going to continue a program with Bayley and possibly go into a four-way with Nia and Sasha. So, obviously, I'm going to pick Charlotte to keep it here. Let's move on then to the match that could steal the show. the WWE title match. AJ Styles, John Cena. Who you pick and why?
The championship match. All caps. All due respect to KO and Reigns. The championship match. I got it match of the year candidate. If WWE doesn't up their game the rest of the year, this right here could win it all. I got Cena winning it.
Ooh, so you're saying Cena ties Ric Flair's prestigious record of 16-time champion?
Yeah, but I think Styles could get the championship back in quick fashion.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's happened before, so.
Other than probably the Royal Rumble match, this is probably the match that is hardest to pick who's going to win. You can make a case for either guy. You got Styles going into WrestleMania and having a great WrestleMania as the champion, or you could have John Cena winning the title for the 16th time. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to pick. In the past, John Cena has always come out on top at the end, and usually when you have a third match in a series and the heel has beaten the babyface a couple of times, you always are going to have the babyface win that final confrontation.
This happened with Joe Angle.
And with the rumors of neither guy walking out as champion, it's kind of hard to pick against John Cena here, but it just makes a lot of sense because you've got Styles is going into the Elimination Chamber as champion. That makes a better story than John Cena as 16-time champion, and then he has to defend the title against AJ Styles in the Chamber. So, I mean, maybe you have Styles lose the title here, Cena keeps it, and Cena defends the title against Styles in the Chamber, and Styles doesn't like that, and that leads to something big at WrestleMania there, and maybe Styles isn't fighting Cena, maybe he's fighting for the title, but I mean, you may go John Cena. This may be my dark horse. I'm going Styles. I'm going to stick with Styles. He retains the title, although it's rumored he won't. Which, let's bring us to the Universal title match. It's KO. Kevin Owens is defending against Roman Reigns. Jericho's in a shark cage, and they made it no DQ, apparently. This is just overbooked, as Mr. Brian Zane said. So, who's your pick to win this match and why?
KO has been absolutely red hot since coming to WWE through NXT and then fastly approached to Monday Night Raw. Fastly approached the main roster. You can't derail his momentum now by Reigns winning the championship. If you're going to have new guys win that one new title, it needs to be KO hands down. This is KO's ball field. This is his territory. KO wins. That's my pick.
Ooh, that's interesting. Now, this one has been difficult for me as well because normally when you do a stipulation match like this, Kevin Owens has kind of been cheating the win with the help of Chris Jericho. Jericho and Kevin Owens have always found a way to bend the rules and use everything in their favor. So it would seem when you put Jericho in a shark cage or you put the heel or is put in some sort of device like he's handcuffed at ringside or he's barred from ringside or he's put in a cage or you have a steel cage match, it's normally to level the playing field and right or wrong. But Jericho finding a way to help Kevin Owens win and wouldn't be too far-fetched. Because like I said, normally this would be the time the babyface wins because you got all the stipulations here. With the rumor of Roman Reigns and Cena walking out as champions because neither man's going to keep their title, it's kind of hard to pick against Kevin Owens. But with it being made no DQ and who I'm probably going to pick for the Royal Rumble match, I'm going with KO retaining the title. I don't know how. I'm going to pick KO. This may be one where I'm wrong and I'm eating crow and I'm going to be booing the crap out of Reigns winning the Universal title, but I'm picking KO.
He'll go after that back injury.
Okay. Now let's move to the Royal Rumble match. Star-studded Rumble match. 30 men, D. I would ask for your top four, but I won't put you on the spot. Who do you got winning this because it's too tough to call?
I'll start with my Ultimate Shockers. My three Ultimate Shockers winning it all. The Ultimate Shockers. Miz, Kofi, and Dolph. Those are my shockers. They're not my picks. They're just shocker picks.
So you'd be shocked if they were
the winners, yes. My top four in this case, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, who in this case, I really see him going a long way. And the man who needs to win it, Bray Wyatt. Those are my picks.
Okay, so you're picking Bray Wyatt to win it.
I'm picking Bray and Corbin as my top two.
Wow. Well, are they realistically going to win, though? Realistically, what are their chances of winning?
I won't be surprised because here's the thing: Corbin's won before. He won a WrestleMania one.
He won the Andre the Giant one, so yeah, it would be kind of shocking if he won.
Yeah, but what a better way for Bray Wyatt to really flip the script on his career by winning. I would love to see Bray Wyatt in a creepy main event style at WrestleMania. I'd love to see it, to be honest with you.
That would be good. I would love to see what Bray Wyatt could do at a WrestleMania in a main event, because that would be cool. Because usually the main event gets crazy cool entrances, and just what Bray Wyatt could do would be awesome. I don't think realistically though he's going to win. I would like a shock. I'm not going to pick a Kurt Angle or anything like that. I'm going to pick the best friend of the Universal Champion. I'm picking Chris Jericho.
Now
remember what you said about making history in first. There's one accomplishment I think Jericho's not done in WWE. Because obviously I don't think he's won King of the Ring, but that's really not relevant right now.
No.
He's never won the Royal Rumble match. So it makes a lot of sense.
That's the X factor.
Kevin Owens stays the Universal Champion. Jericho wins the Rumble. You start setting up those seeds of dissension that are already there about Jericho, and Kevin Owens. So it would make perfect sense for Jericho to win the Rumble. Now, Goldberg, Lesnar, Taker, all good options. Strowman, good option. I think he's the odds-on favorite. I haven't checked the odds on lately or what the betting odds are, but I'm going to go Chris Jericho here. I think I got to pick Chris Jericho on this one.
Very quickly, who do you think is going to eliminate Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, or The Undertaker?
Ooh, you're putting me on the spot there. I mean, obviously, I think Goldberg and Lesnar cancel each other out. Maybe they both eliminate each other. I can't really be for sure there.
I would say dark horse pick here. I say Braun Strowman may be the one turning heads. If he eliminates Brock Lesnar, it will make a lot of sense.
And that may be who eliminates Lesnar is Braun Strowman. I think that could very well be the guy who eliminates.
They can set up for Mania.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's kind of my picks. But that's all the time we have for this very special Royal Rumble prediction show. Thank you, Mr. Cornbread, Chris Heineken, for joining me. Hey, as always, where can people find you on social media?
Social media, Twitter, Chris Heineken 1, Facebook.com/TheRealCornbread. And Friday nights, I'm in Osceola, Arkansas, doing play-by-play with Ken Jackson for Mid-Southern Championship Wrestling. We have a special Hall of Fame show coming up on April the 7th. And, woo, it'll be a list of names. I'll have it on my Facebook page. As far as, after this recording it goes, I'll have it on my Facebook page later on, probably either sometime next week or probably next month, leading into April 7th. Plus, I'm at Strictly LCW, Out of Control Wrestling, Hoxie, Arkansas, every single Saturday night, 7:05 start time. National syndication taping for episodes that air Sunday nights and Tuesday nights, both at 11 p.m. Eastern in certain parts of syndication, and worldwide on YouTube on both those days. That's where I am. Where can they find you, Mr. Red?
Okay, Facebook, Twitter, pretty much anywhere you can find me. My Instagram's having trouble right now, so I really don't have an Instagram right now. But Facebook, Twitter, you can find me a lot of places. You're on
Twitter at Robert Lee Red.
Oh, it's Robert Red Jr. on Twitter. If you want to follow me, feel free to follow me there. And you can check out just whatever I post and the latest information regarding the podcast.
And we get to do a WrestleMania one because this is going to be
spooky. Yeah, it's going to be. We've got some great podcasts coming up. I've got scheduled, so you want to stick around. But thank you guys for checking out this podcast. Also, if you want to support it and be a member of a great community here at the Power Pro Wrestling Podcast fans. And feel free to support us on Patreon. On any amount you give is appreciated. And you can get a lot of great content on there if you want to give. And it will help to improve the show. So definitely there. But I want to thank you once again for joining me, Mr. Cornbread, Chris Heineken.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you
Rhett.
guys for listening to the Power Pro Wrestling Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya!